Where has the time gone? The final, I had to watch these more than once, of the season? I mean, say it ain't so. But the final leg of the regular season, with teams out there battling it out for a playoff spot, brought plenty of action. I mean, we had brawls breaking out all over the league this week, as certainly plenty of nasty to cover. Ouch. We got bone-crushing hits, refs even getting hit. We had jaw-dropping goals, and plenty of them. Wow. Some downright hilarious moments, comebacks so insane they actually made NHL history, which, speaking of, we are seeing goalies making history, also getting away with absolute robbery, and yes, we got some great sound bites.
Yeah, maybe I'll suit up and play back there.
Might not have been my best decision.
He's a scumbag too.
Gino, did you expect that?
Yes. Fans make good day. Fans make good day.
They are orgasmic about this.
He's a rat, and I wasn't too happy.
So let's take a look. A long look, starting with the notables, which I've got plenty. First up, as the season comes to an end, we are witnessing the end of several NHL careers. We already knew about Pat Maroon, but Alec Martinez also announced he is hanging him up, as both played their final home games in Chicago. 6 cups between the two, 3 apiece, as the Jets had to line up and give them their dues, and that's the kind of class I love in hockey. We are seeing it in every arena Flower is playing in right now too, as he too started in what is likely his final home game this week. He brought the kids out there with him for the anthem, which, how cool is that? And while it wasn't his best night, he let in 6 against the Sharks, with Celebrini netting his first career hattie against Fleury. Real quick, by the way, Macklin was born in 06. Fleury made his debut in 03. I mean, come on. But Fleury was out there playing chess anyway. With Kirill the Thrill taking it in OT, it meant Fleury in his final home start became the first goalie in NHL history to record 70 overtime wins. His kids, teary-eyed, got to see him win his last game. Awesome stuff. Then for Boston, David Pastrnak, recording an apple on this one, hit the century mark for the 3rd straight year, which is certainly impressive, but so is this. Nikita Kucherov, who is very good at hockey, for the 3rd straight season hit 80 assists, becoming the 4th ever, behind just Gretzky, Coffey, and Orr. I mean, that's some good company, as he is somehow severely underrated. He hit 35 goals last night and leads the league in points for the 2nd straight year at the age of 32. Legit one of the best to ever do it. This week, we also saw Gabriel Landeskog on what has been a long road, for the first time in nearly 3 years, play in a professional hockey game. With his boys, including Makar McKinnon, in the building, he made his AHL debut on a conditioning assignment and made sure to make his presence known. And on the following game, he would score his first pro goal in nearly 3 years. Just great to see. Now, this week we also had the NCAA Championship, where the Western Michigan Broncos took down BU 6-2 to take the national championship for the first time in program history. So a big congrats to them. And lastly, the Winnipeg Jets, with their incredible season, clinched the Central, the West, and are at the top of the league for the first time in their history. Speaking of which, Vegas and Washington have locked up their divisions, Toronto looking to follow, meaning that while Calgary and Columbus do have a chance at changing things up, this is what the first round of the playoffs would look like today, and you may notice some familiar matchups. But you'll also notice that for the first time in NHL history, the Rangers, Penguins, and Bruins have all failed to make the playoffs. And speaking of which, I'd like to share a word from today's sponsor, SeatGeek. The regular season is coming to an end real quick, so if you're like me and your team isn't making the playoffs, rip to my Penguins, or you're lucky enough to watch your team ramp it up heading into the first round, now is the perfect time to get out and catch a game. If you're looking to catch the best deal, let me introduce you to SeatGeek. From hockey to concerts, they have over 70,000 events listed, so if you're going, they've got it. And on top top of showing you whether you're getting a good deal or not, green meaning you're good to snatch them up, and red meaning you may want to keep looking. Another feature I love is that they also show you what view you're getting with a picture of the view from your section. So, you know I came through for you guys. You can use my code NEXTMANUP10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with promo code NEXTMANUP10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you, SeatGeek. With that though, let's move on to the nasty of the week. And this here came in Columbus as we had a feisty one. It started after Adam Fantilli absolutely flattened Ryan Leanard with a massive open ice hit in the first before immediately going the other way and scoring. I mean, what a shift. But it was rough going for the Caps all night, who after finding themselves down 6 midway through the game, they weren't happy and we saw a couple of scraps. First, it was Leonard seeking a little revenge from Corrali. Just a rough afternoon for Leonard. Then Sandin and Van Riemsdyk also dropped him in what was, again, just a scrappy game. Headed over to Tampa after Raymond took a hit from Chernak. Hey, you're a joke. He decided after the whistle to shoot the puck into their net, and yeah, that'll get you a back alley muggin' as all hell broke loose. Then a big headline this week was Vancouver's Derek Forbort breaking his orbital bone. He and Trenyon would go at it, with Trenyon hitting a defenseless Forbort, leaving him with, yeah, a broken orbital bone, and there is a code for this, but there was a lot going on here. First, Forbort broke that same code just seconds earlier, and then yeah, Trenyon did the same, but we also had a spear from the Vancouver bench here, and yet none of this got any response from the Department of Player Safety. What did, though, was this. New Jersey's Paul Cotter catching Adam Pelech shoulder to jaw left Pelech with some words for him as he was absolutely incensed. And out of it, Cotter caught a 2-gamer. As for the hits, we saw Ovi break the goals record, and now he seems to be going for the hits record, finding himself just 287 from knocking that one down. In Utah, we had Yamamoto sit down Mahura, Marcus Pettersson in Vancouver nail Chisholm, crunching him up good. We saw Winnipeg's Tanev hit hard from behind by Shen. Ottawa versus Montreal was another feisty one, as you'd expect, where Tim Stützle took a big hit from Anderson, and so coming back, Hodgson would staple Struble into the boards. And then while the Oilers played the Ducks, it was Corey Perry taking flight, which came after Radko Gudas, a little chicken wing special, clipped Perry on the way by, and this also went uncalled. But the worm is gonna worm, and he did that in St. Louis, as coming in hot with the skate to Binner's face had him seeing red. He wanted a piece of him, shot to the back of the head as everyone grabbed themselves a dancing partner. But check this one out. Perry opening the door right as Nurse sent Shen into it. Ouch. Headed down to the AHL, this was insane. Adam Beckman sent a ref hard into the boards.
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up,
as that would land him a 10-game sussy. Similarly, over Brendan Lemieux caught the linesman with a right. Oof, that one would get him 4. And then lastly, the Winnipeg Jets with some bad luck in the final stretch right now. Against Chicago, it was Ehlers and the linesman who got tied up. He went down, and this did not look good as he's out for Sunday. Wish him the best. But then last night, it was Dylan Sandberg. After blocking a shot from McDavid with the knee, ooh, that left him down, while play continued for several seconds, and sure enough, the Oilers would end up scoring in the process. Brutal. But alright, enough of all that. Let's lighten the mood with some quick ones. And this was great. I think it's the Red Wings who started this whole boo cheer thing. Not sure, but this was the Ducks versus the Flames, and it was awesome. As 4-year-old Braden York had the time of his life. And in the same vein, as mentioned, Macklin Celebrini scored his first career hattie this week. And on the second one, Luke Schumann here with Make-A-Wish was stoked. That's my friend. I love it. Headed to Florida now, we saw Brad Marchand score his first as a Panther, and Rodriguez hates it.
It sucked. I wasn't happy for him. He's a rat, and yeah, I wasn't too happy. He's a scumbag too. I've hated him for a long time, so that's not going to change now.
And then in Chicago, after Nazar lost a blade, Jari said F them kids as he helped him get to the bench. But speaking of, you often see guys struggle to get to the bench when they lose a blade, but not Lane Hudson. Losing one in Ottawa was just so smooth with it. In Toronto now, with Ekman Larson out, Toronto was down to 5D. And so,
Yeah, maybe I'll suit up and play back there. I wasn't sure about it, but
speaking of funny coach interactions, this one was just fantastic. In that Columbus-Washington game mentioned earlier, yeah, we had a scrappy game, which meant in the third, we also saw some misconducts handed out. Dubois and Van Riemsdyk both getting one, and while the officials didn't announce it, Voronkov also got one. Now, the officials said that they had told him, but problem is, he speaks no English. He nodded, went to the bench, yes, I am number 10, and well, on that ensuing power play, I spy with my little eye a Voronkov. Out there on the power play, they whistled it dead, and this was fantastic. Why? Yup, no, he's not supposed to be out there. Why didn't you tell the coach? Didn't we? He says that we did. Well, we're in there. You don't know where he goes? Fantilli and the boys had me dying this entire exchange, as I can't say I've seen something like this before.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
Another crazy sequence of events came in Dallas, who with a minute to go were up 3. No way they lose this game, right? Well, Atu Ratu would make it a 2-goal game with 60 seconds to go, and they made it a 1-goal game with 29 on the board. Problem for Dallas is they needed just 23 as Suter would score another. Puck bouncing all over the place, and with the season on the line, they pushed it to overtime, where you better believe it, Vancouver would score to win this game 6-5 and became the first team in NHL history to accomplish this feat. Insane. Also insane, Sid the Kid.
Crosby's coming out. The kid? Yeah, Crosby's coming out and the Kane's coming out.
Joined Pat McAfee in Pittsburgh to attempt a $1 million throw. Now, noteworthy, the Pirates pitcher, Paul Skeens of all people, had literally just missed his attempt. But surprise, surprise, Sidney Crosby would make light work of it.
Dude, of course. Gino, did you expect that? Yes. Nailed it.
On the topic of GOATs, with Ovi having hit the record on the road, he got a standing O during practice at home, and he had to do it. He gave the crowd what they wanted, the new infamous sliding celly. And the Caps also had Juicy J in the tunnel with them this week.
Fans make good day. Fans make good day.
Then in Toronto, with Ivan Demidov coming over from the KHL, Canadiens fans met him at the airport, and they are
orgasmic about this, and they cannot stop their excitement.
Alrighty then. And lastly, despite outshooting the Rangers 46-32 this game, after the Rangers would score their 6th against the Islanders, Hogberg was pulled for Tristan Lennox, who made his NHL debut. Okay, cool, but not 5 minutes later, facing his first shot against the Rangers made it 7-2, to which he was now pulled and Hogberg was put back in.
Might not have been my best decision.
The Rangers, by the way, wound up with 9 in this one. Insane stuff. But with that, that is a good segue into the goalies, who did have some great stops. In LA, Seattle's Schwartz on a wide open net was absolutely robbed by Darcy Kemper, reaching back with the paddle, able to somehow reel that one back. Wow. In San Jose, it was Dustin Wolf with another highlight save as he shut down Celebrini, also on a wide open net. And while we saw Fleury give us one more prank, in relief in Calgary, he also gave us another vintage Fleury pad stack. Then Jonathan Quick facing Philly showed us he's still got it too, somehow able to keep this one out, but really flashing that leather was Alex Lyon on Bjorkstrand, coming across to keep this one out. Nice. And then, what is this? Oh no. No. Stay in your... What? What just happened? Comfort on a short goal missed the net by a country mile. I didn't want to see one this week. Oh, God. Helly. No. Stay in your net! Ah! All right. So, not great. Almost made it through the week, but on the bright side, Hellebuck did record himself yet another shutout earlier this week. In what was his 8th of the season, he alone has more shutouts than 27 other other teams do. But further, with his 45th dub, he became just the third netminder in NHL history with 45 wins and 8 shutouts in a single season. So, yeah, I guess I'll give him a pass. But speaking of the Jets goalies, did you know Eric Comrie drinks nothing but water?
Never had juice in my life. They say, why do you not drink coffee? I said, do you want me to drink coffee? They say,
no.
Probably not.
The last thing that Eric needs is coffee.
Yeah.
Anyway, from there, let's finish this off with the goals of the week. And none were nastier than Quinton Byfield against the Kraken. Grabbing right stick with his left hand, he knocked a shot down with his right, and one-handed he scored. I mean, come on, definitely a penalty, but still so impressive. Similarly, last night it was Jesse Puljujarvi with a one-handed redirect. I mean, the hand-eye these days, it's insane. In Carolina, we saw Jarvis knocking down an empty netter from Ovi, and going the other way, he scored the equalizer to push OT. And so, speaking of the talent these days, in the WHL, Gavin Mckenna, are you kidding me? What a freaking goal. Back to the National, this may be the best empty netter you'll see. Owen Tippett from his own blue line went bar down on the ENG. And in contrast, this is one of the worst penalty shots. Zibanejad. On the rookie goalie, you can't score if you don't hit the net. I mean, just ask Eriksson Ek, who in that crazy Sharks Wild game was scoring every time he touched the damn puck, scoring not just a hattie, but he had 4 goals in his return. You pair that with Kirill Kaprizov scoring 2 in his return, this was them after the game. Speaking of hat tricks, Matthew Nice in Tampa was just on something. Check this out. I mean, seriously, as he would cap off the hattie with the OT winner. Meanwhile, in Washington, this is maybe one of the dumbest goals I've seen. Tom Wilson hitting Blake into his own goalie who had just made the save, turns it into a goal. But watch his gear. In Montreal, Anderson popping Johansson's lid sent him chasing his bucket while Anderson scored. Just the worst timing. But let's finish with some more pretty ones. Nick Bjugstad from the goal line, sharp shooting somehow goes off the Mask of Sorrows and in. Just nasty, as was Cole Perfetti. In his first shootout attempt, goes Datsuk-esque as he goes 5-hole, but just no shot for the goalie. And sticking with the shootout, Philip Forsberg in Utah, just unstoppable. The quick hands, the power backhand, wow. As that will about do it for this one and for the regular season, as next week it is the return of the NHL playoffs are out of control. I'm looking forward to it, but as always, thank you for watching. I appreciate it very much, and I'll see you in the next one.